Okay, so I never saw the ad. I don't know if it actually played for any of the viewers or if I even have any viewers because I haven't streamed in over a month. So, um, it seems like the face tracking is actually working pretty decently considering I can't even see my own face. I'm glad the camera can. Um, but I've been playing this game called Bitcraft. It is a super cute multiplayer online survival crafting game. The characters are little automata, I think they're called. They're little robot guys. I decided to go shirtless because I didn't feel like making a shirt. And I've got my little owl buddy here. That was really great timing actually for me to introduce him. But he follows you around and just kind of bounces. But I'm going to try and find a spot that hasn't already been claimed. So my goal right now, as you can see, there's like all these empires and claims already in all of the starter areas. So I'm going to try to get over here where there's not really an empire in this corner yet and get across the ocean and hide over here where I can make my own claim and tiny empire and still be somewhat close to the land that's gonna have the resources that I need. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. I did finally acquire a skiff, so I will be able to boat across faster than my raft would have gotten me. But for now, we're just gonna start running if I don't get stuck running into a wall. Obviously the tracking isn't always perfect. Sometimes it'll kind of flake out on you. I think if I go this way I can take the rivers out to where I want to go. Because I can go up, across, and maybe down here. As you can see, there's more players out here. That actually looks like a fairly new player since they're still wearing the grass skirt. Oh, I probably should have finished that quest. I got too distracted trying to make stuff. But I have my Writ of Settlement Foundation. Probably should not have tried to solo that, but I did. So that's on me for goofing that up. Oh, I'm getting closer to the river now. But I took all of the things I figured were important with me, stuck the rest in the trading hub to see if I could get any coins from it when I came back. Do you love how pretty this game is? Oh, that's not Sure's claim. I used their claim a little bit earlier to level my stuff up. And somebody made a path through here. Probably could have used their path. There is a group, and they may still be around, called the Trailblazers, which I thought was hilarious as a Honkai Star Rail player. And they are people who are going out and making paths. So they're going around and connecting all of the different places together. Let's eat some stuff so I can restore stamina. But I think it was fun how they named themselves the Trailblazers. quickly here. And then I want to take a right at that fork. Oh, no, a left. I'm going to take a left because I want to go north. Look at all them newbie goats. Too bad my hunting is not high enough to actually hunt them. I can only do the saggy birds for now, I think. Yeah, my hunting is still pretty sad. Let's unlock that little spot right there. Oh, look at all them saggy birds. I think I'm going to go grab those guys, because that's a lot of them. Who left a bunch of dead saggy birds over here? Ooh, my skiff has lots of cargo spots. Not only is there a bunch of dead birds, there's a bunch of living ones over here too. I'm gonna have to park my skiff somewhere and end up reloading stuff. I will definitely be taking these birds back with me because leather is always useful. Come here. I hunt you. Because I need to get better hunting skills too. Oh, the icon for my skiff is so adorable. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised too. I only just got the skiff like a few hours ago, because in order to get this gift, you have to grind sailing levels, and the only way to grind sailing levels is to do Svim's, traveler tasks, which refresh every 4 hours, some of which is while I'm asleep. So, it definitely turns a lot better than the raft does. And it's a lot faster too, which makes me happy. Come on, my guy. There we go. How many of these guys are left? 2 more. I never get that many saggy birds in one area like that, so this was a good find. They also don't seem to like the water very much. They're trying to scare the water off while I'm actively hunting them down. I actually don't know how hard it's going to be to build my claim because I never got to claim building on the demo. And they might have changed some stuff since the last time I played an alpha test. So this is going to be fun to find out. We'll see if I can recruit anybody along the way. Come on, little burb. Why did you have to die in a bush? That's a bad place to die. Go back to my skiff. I apologize for all of the sniffling and how bad I sound right now. I have had some pretty bad allergies the past couple weeks, and it's kind of to the point right now that my face is a little swollen, and I'm surprised my facial tracking is working so well on VTube Studio. I mean, kudos to them for great facial tracking. And now I need to see which direction I'm going again. I'm going this way. It's definitely so much smoother than a raft, and it's just so much cuter too. I think my next goal is to upgrade my wagon, which probably means I need to spam Brico's tasks, because I think Brico's the one that sold the wagon. And I don't have very high construction EXP. Fabulous. Hopefully building claim helps with the construction EXP then. The watchtower's gotta glow up. Very well established home. Nice fencing. Oh, my map is lagging so bad. I have explored 0.4% of the map. This is an absolutely gigantic old map. See, I'm here, and there's like so much map. I don't think I'm gonna explore all of it. It's gonna take years to get through all of this map. I haven't even left Region 8, not even once. That is all I've explored. I'm gonna work off this way and unlock that bit on that. Hi, Caliber! I'm just exploring right now to find a place to build my claim in this game. It is a multiplayer, online, survival crafting game, kind of like Minecraft, and stuff. It was very heavily inspired by Minecraft and Stardew Valley and the likes. But I'm trying to find, in all of this space that has been claimed by so many people already with all those borders and all those claims, my goal is to get across over here where there aren't any claims yet. So it's gonna be a little while for me to get over there. Oh, they have a Brico here. That's this big fluffy guy that's hammering shit. I love him. I do not love the jackal, so we're going to keep sailing. Oh, you were playing in the stress test? We might have seen each other then. I had a different name whenever we were going through the alpha tests and stuff. So I actually finally decided to use my streamer name in the game now. It actually doesn't show that anywhere in here. But, I did decide to use Therios. If I was going to be streaming the game, it made sense for people to find me in-game if they use my streamer name to find me. So I moved on from the name that anybody who's been playing the alphas would know me by, so I could use the streamer name. They're fighting a jackal, but it kind of looks like they got it. No, it doesn't look like they got it. Can I help them? Get out and hit the jackal for them. Oh, they got it. We're good. I don't know if they need food or anything, but they look like they're in their planes, so we're gonna keep going. This is probably a forking over again. And go down this way. I know that this game is eventually going to be free to play when it releases fully. That could be a few years down the road from now. And there is like a big, huge, heavy warning that all player leveling and claims and all of that happens between now and the full release is going to be wiped once before the full release of the game. So if you do end up spending the money to buy the game in early access, just be kind of aware that all of your progress will be wiped at some point. You do keep everything that's connected to your Bitcraft hub account, so if you buy any of the Hexite shards, and if you earn any things like the beta cubes and stuff like that, that will all stay connected to your account. But things like all of my profession levels, those are all going to get reset, my claim's going to get reset, stuff like that. So I know that is a big turnoff for some people when they're considering buying the early access of the game. I still think it's worth it. Obviously, I'm in the game right now, so I thought it was worth it, but I did buy the Founder's Badge when it was a little bit cheaper. I think I paid $20, and right now it's $30 for early access, so I was a bit ahead of the game. Is this the ocean? Did I finally make it to the ocean? Ooh, look at those mushrooms, they're so cool. What tier mushrooms is that? It doesn't say. It won't let me look at it. I'm getting away before the jackal sees me. Goodbye. That's probably like a tier 6 mushroom or something. I'm getting way ahead of myself by building a camp somewhere where I have to trek pretty far for tier 1 and 2 resources, but I really want to get away from where all the empires are already built, because I want to build a tiny empire so I can design my own cape, because I'm a menace like that. And I'll eventually level up enough that it won't matter. Oh, is this like a, oh, I can't go down, that's why. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Let's see here, what if I put my raft down here? Oh, okay. Put my raft down here. I can only deploy one boat. Alright. Well. That is not great. I can't go up that river. Wait. Maybe this was a bad idea to go all the way over this way. Why can't I view my skiff storage? There we go. Just let me get my birds back, please. Okay. Let's see now. So I won't be able to go up the river right there. Not with cargo. It's going to be annoying to go up that way with cargo. And I kind of want to be away from France because they are expanding. All of that blue stuff is this Royaume de France. So I kind of want to be more of this way where Legion is. Legion might leave me alone. Can I keep going? Is this a server? No, this is still region 8. I don't know why it's not going any further. What is this? What is this bug? I should probably report that. Where's the jack? Oh, that's an alpha jackal. Okay, nope. I swim out just a little bit and redeploy my vehicle. Will it actually move? Get these guys back, because we're dealing with all the bugs today. Now can I move? Yay! Let's go up more this way. Let's see if right here will probably be good. There's nobody there yet. Yeah, there's just a watchtower for Legion up there. So if I kind of hang out in like this area, I should probably be pretty safe from those guys. So the ocean's probably gonna be a bit boring. The watchtower. This guy's real pretty. Some more land. Actually, I probably can turn that back off. We don't need the F4 tool open all the time. Are we trying to bring hot air balloons to this game? I mean, that sounds fun, but I don't know if that will work with the mechanics of this game or not. Fish are so colorful. And I can't fish any. Oh, wait, I don't have any bait. I definitely need to get some bait. And fish some more. I think I can get up to tier 3 fishing, maybe. What am I fishing at? Farming is 30. Fishing is only 27. I can get tier 2 fish. So for each 10 levels, you can get like the next tier of thing, as long as you have the correct tool. Oh, finally I'm leaving France's territory. Halfway into the ocean. That was a dramatic color change. But like right now I have tier 2 tools on most of these, so I can only get up to level 20 things and up to tier 2 things. My foraging I can get tier 3 things on because I went ahead and made myself a tier 3 tool, and I have level 30. My goal is to eventually, with making a claim, get some other people to help me so I can specialize instead of trying to level up everything at once. Because it gets real tedious after level 10 to level everything up. These 3 I'm still not even remotely close to tier 2 stuff. Oh, those are cute fish. They look like giant goldfish. Tier 9 fish. Yeah, we're not getting those anytime soon. most of the alpha tests. I actually never played RuneScape before. I keep hearing comparisons to it in this game, and I kept telling myself I was gonna look into it, and I got busy and distracted and never did. So I probably should actually look into it, because that's a pretty old game at this point. I think it's been around as long as I have. I'm in my 30s, so maybe it's been around as long as I have. There's definitely a lot of old school games. But I like how cozy this game is. There's like pretty minimal fighting. You can avoid it if you don't want to. Because like there's the jackals, but if you put up a bonfire, you're pretty safe. What is this? Why is there a flower in the middle of the ocean? What kind of flower is that? Pink lilies, tier 5 flower. Oh, there's a bunch of them. Ooh, is the area I'm going to that pink area? That would be such a fun place to live. It's gorgeous, but also it's very high tier, so I need to level myself up to be able to clear some stuff. Oh, I think it is the pink area. Or a new biome that we haven't seen before. But I love this color. And the fish seem to really like this area too. That's a lot of freaking fish. I won't have any problems keeping myself fed over here. I just need to get some bait first. Definitely am glad I got a skiff. It's gonna take me a long time to haul stuff back and forth over here. Oh, this is a gorgeous area. I can already tell. Definitely a biome I have not seen before. This is pretty. I think I know why nobody's built out here though, because like that's a lot of trees. And that's a lot of space that can't be used. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm going to make a claim somehow. Some way. I'm gonna figure it out. I don't care if it's a janky claim. Got this, guys. What kind of tree is that? Tier 4 tree. Oh, that's not too bad. I'm actually... Forestry. I'm 24 in forestry, so I'm halfway there. Halfway to being able to cut those trees down. Just need to get the right tools and stuff. Right. There's not any flat ground. There is a flat ground. There is one flat enough ground. This guy's. Ha ha ha. Oh, it comes with 5,000 supplies. Awesome! Unlock tier 2. Well, duh. Need a lot of supplies to unlock an empire. Okay. This place is gorgeous, and I want to level up enough to clear out and level some stuff up here. But first I should make a bonfire. I don't have the recipe for a bonfire. Oh. I can do terraforming, dig sites, but I don't have the materials. I need some sticks. And I need to figure out how to acquire the crafting recipe. Swamp. Terratoad. Oh, that dude's probably super high level. I should definitely acquire some means of making a light source. Okay. Oh, I should rename my claim real quick. I love how you climb up. This is just so ridiculous. Welcome home. Oh, that's so cute. I'm gonna die. That's adorable. Alright. I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, there's how I rename it. I swear I've played this game before. I know what I'm doing. What did we say I was gonna name this place? Actually, no, I think I'm gonna name the Empire Reverie, and my claim will be Solstice. So, how do I give it supplies? Drag and drop supplies cargo here to claim and prevent structure decay. Oh, I just had to research to get more building recipes. Are any of those a fire, perchance? Can't see shit. I don't see a fire. Claim, add and remove. Can't plant things. Oh. I can make tier 1 and tier 2 pavings. I cannot make a fire. Oh, I leaned in too much. My avatar went crazy there. Obviously I can't see anything if I'm leaning in that far. Oh, there is tier 2 stuff here. And tier 3 stuff. Ooh, those are pretty. Oh. That's a tier 1 tree. Tier 8 tree. Ooh. That's gonna be a while before I can get rid of that one. Lots of tier 1 trees. So I can get wood. I can get plants. This actually isn't a bad spot to set up. I just need to figure out how to craft some supplies and shit. So... oh. My closed captioning, is censoring my cursing. Light cursing here. I can't tell if my avatar's eyes are open. They might not be because mine aren't fully open, but those are pretty. There's a lot of stuff here I cannot gather yet. That's fine. We're fine. I'll figure it out. I don't need to clear all that yet. Those trees are tier 4. So got me level 40 forestry. Tier 3 hieroglyph. So I need level 30 scholar. Tier 5 fiber plant. That's gonna be a while before I get there. But I can pave over that one, I think. I just need to figure out how to structures, how to build a fire. How do you build a freaking fire? Four planks and 4 pebbles. Well, I had some of those earlier. I clearly do not anymore. Crude workbench. I don't need that. I need something to store my stuff in. I guess I do need to borrow another claims stuff to start making things. Maybe I need to make the campfire first before it allows me to make the bonfire? I could just cheat and Google it and see if there's an answer on Google. And get the stuff and come back to make a bonfire. He doesn't say anything. Maybe the Discord does? Okay, in order to make a bonfire, I need 20 tier 2 logs, 3 tier 2 trunks, and 3 tier 2 rock slabs. That's why I never got the rock slabs, so of course I wouldn't have the recipe for it. Alright, let's get some tier 2 rock slabs, which I think I can get if I just go back straight across this way. Actually, let me see if there's any tier 2 rocks over here first. Because if there's any tier 2 rocks here, I could just get a rock slab, get the recipe, and then make a bonfire. Oh no. Making things unnecessarily hard for myself. That is not a tier 2 rock. Not going in the direction of the drone. Those things are evil. So I definitely want to acquire some tier 2 rocks and come back. Get a bonfire at some of the corners of my claim here. That way the monsters won't bother me. Alright. Long haul! That is actually a much further boat ride than I thought it would be. And people are gonna think I'm crazy for having a claim all the way out there. But it's probably the only way I'm gonna be able to have my own empire to make my own cave, so I'm just gonna waste a lot of time boating back and forth. Look at all them fishes. I probably am gonna have a hard time convincing anybody to play with me if this is the amount of distance for boating back and forth. I could probably buy them a skiff, but they would have to get their own skiff training, which is level 20 sailing, which is a lot of doing tasks for swim. I think it took me 4 days of doing SPIMS tasks. Granted, I was not doing them every 4 hours. I was doing them whenever I was awake, and they happened to refresh. But I definitely like the coloring on the other side where I was better. Let's go! Need to get a bunch of those rock slabs. And probably some sticks so I can terraform stuff. Might need to tear my claim down, do some terraforming, and then put the claim back up. But yeah, I'll get some sticks and make terraforming happen. If only France did not take up 90% of the continent. I could have a little corner over there. And then just visit the pretty purple place. Which, you know, I've realized now that I look at this theming, I've got a lot more purple than blue, even though blue is my favorite color. I don't know how that happened. I think it just happened. I ended up getting a lot of this stuff from my friend, Star. I think I've got their info on my card. But Star makes awesome art, and I love them, and I love my theming. I just kind of hid the social media little bars with my closed captioner, because I wanted to make sure I had closed captions. I am still so far away from the land. I can't even touch it. Oh yes, I can. Yay! By the time I get to the end of my trail, I will be at land. Eventually. I need to. This is actually my first stream as affiliate. I got the invitation a month ago at the beginning of June, or actually at the end of May. And then I died. I died a lot. though I haven't actually done a whole lot with the point redeems and whatnot. I tried. I made some things, but I see land. I'm gonna go this way because it looks like that's closer. Ah, hi Lamp Devil! I didn't know you were watching. But yes, I finally made it back to land. I made the most chaos gremlin decision ever and decided to make my claim across the ocean away from all of the stuff I can actually collect right now because I'm pretty low level. Like, for every 10 levels that you reach in these, you can do the next tier of things to collect. So I can only collect tier 2 in most things. I need to find some tier 2 rocks. I actually don't know if there would be any tier 2 rocks in this area. I don't know what the tier 2 rocks look like because they did a whole big revamp since the last alpha test. And everything's a little bit different. Like this golden stuff here, it's called pyrolite. And for several years, this stuff was tier 1. It is now tier 2. So I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm going to avoid that guy. Alpha jackals are evil. And oh god, it saw me. No, no, no. I can't fight it. Oh, that guy's really pissed off. Oh, he went away, thank god. I lost my train of thought. That is a tier 1 rock. That is not what I want. But I might be going in the right direction. Tier 3 rock. Tier 5 rock. I definitely lost my train of thought when that Alpha Jacko came up. But because they changed a lot of stuff, I'm not really gonna know on site like what's what. So I'm a teeny bit lost when it comes to what I'm actually looking for tier 2 rock. Not that one. I need to properly avoid the Alpha Jackal. Oh, nope, that's a regular jackal. Goodbye. Goodbye. There's another one. They're very angry. I have definitely lost my skiff. Please don't come across the water. That is a tier 1 rock. That's a tier 1 rock. This autumn forest is really gorgeous, but I also don't know if it has what I need. That's another alpha jackal. Oh my god, can these guys stop appearing? That doesn't have what I need. I should find out where my skiff is and go back to it. Let's go back that way. I might have to go back to the other forest to get tier 2 rocks. I might have to go a bit south. I need a tier 2 rock though, because I need to make some bonfires. Why can't I move? Get some stuff. I broke the game. Okay, there we go. Now I can move. Let's see how far south. Pretty decently far south before it turns back into the forest that might have what I need. Did I get stuck again? This is the problem with early access. Is you enter bugs like that and I have to collect my skiff and move a few feet forward and re-enable my skiff, and then I gotta collect my birds. Clean all these guys, and now I should be able to move you. Maybe, is that limestone rock, tier 1 rock? No, that's not what I want. I never actually went looking for tier 2 rocks at all before. I just went venturing off into the ocean to make myself a claim, so that was obviously a very dumb idea. I'm full of dumb ideas. This is how you make a cozy game very chaotic, by doing silly things like going off into the tier 6 biome to make yourself a house while you're still only tier 2. Oh, those are pretty berries. They're like kind of an orangey color. Probably tier 4, since I can't do them. And that's probably got not rocks in it. How far do I have to go to get my tier 2 rock? That's probably France's watchtower. So, if you're still here, Lampy, I don't know if you've actually seen this game before. It's like a multiplayer online survival crafting game, so it's got a lot of heavy inspiration from like Minecraft and Stardew Valley. And a lot of people are saying RuneScape. I've never actually played it before, so I couldn't tell you what the comparisons are, but you collect things, you build things, you try not to get eaten by jackals. It's kind of fun. It's very pretty. I love all the different biomes that you can explore in, which is kind of why I went. Oh, it tells you in-game when people buy stuff. That's convenient. I'm not going all the way back there right now to get my money, but you can like sell stuff on the marketplace, which is pretty nice. That's how you get these little hex coins and stuff, or you can complete traveler's tasks to get hex coins. So like Roomba right now wants me to make him 20 planks, but I don't want to make Roomba 20 planks right now, so he can get over it. There's other players to make him some planks. It's actually pretty fun with these characters, because there's like pretty gender ambiguous. So I could call Roomba he or she, and I don't think it really matters. Like even our characters here are pretty gender ambiguous. Like I've got little ears, floppy ears, because I thought they were fun. These things called scrophas are things you can hunt. They will not hunt you. They're kind of like pigs. You can kind of see them a little bit. They're a tier 3 huntable animal, I think. Raise the tuber. I don't know what chat's on about half the time. How much further until I get to an area that has the rocks I need? A lot further, apparently. Maybe I have to go inland. I'm gonna park my skiff, like, here somewhere. Wherever that alpha jackal is not. Oh, he's right there. He's hunting me. Maybe if I go this way, he would hurt me. Nope, he's coming this way. Leave me alone, I just want some rocks. Oh, there's 2 of them. No, no, this is bad. Okay, the first one left. Come on. Come on. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Okay. His text is no longer read, so I think he's gonna leave me alone for real this time. So, I'm gonna... Oh wait, I can go up the river to this green area. Let's do that. Let's go up the river. That's probably a little bit safer. Oh. Ad break time. Thanks for stopping by, Lampy. Have a good night. I'm just gonna keep going up the river while the ad break goes on. Hopefully, because I've got the captions on, you guys can kind of still tell what's going on, because I think the ads still show my screen in the side. Hopefully. It actually didn't show an ad for me earlier when I said I wasn't going to start until the ad break finished, so I don't really know how the ads actually work. I'm very, very new to affiliate. I probably could have learned all this stuff a month ago if I didn't die and stop streaming for a while. Oh, I forgot that river is where I had to go up. This is unfortunate. Ooh, what's this building? Oh, that's just a player bank. Neat, though. I'd never actually seen one of those before. Ad is ending in 31 seconds. Soon. Exit the boat. Wait. I have to select the skiff to my boat. Is that jackal really gonna try to come across the river at me? So rude. I really need to put my birds in a storage. Get all the birds back. ad break's finishing. Pretty far away from getting to the greener area, which might have the rocks I'm looking for, because clearly the autumn forest doesn't. So maybe the normal forest does. The Scrofa made a pig noise. That's hilarious. I've never heard the birds or the newbie goats make any noises. Maybe they do. Maybe I've just never caught it. Such a pretty area. Over the tier 1 rock. These and tier 2 rocks. There's a jackal just waiting in the river to ambush. I can probably use their claim to process some stuff to bring back. Is that a tier 2 rock? No, gotta go away from the alpha jackal. I don't have permission to interact on this claim. That jackal just disappeared. Yeet into the... Well, I don't care how or why that happened. It's convenient for me. I now have a bonfire recipe, yeah! Is it under structures? Bonfire, yes! Alright. I should probably just collect a whole bunch of these, whatever I can manage to, and bring them back for bonfires. Let's go with 9 each, since that's what my storage will manage. Or actually, I can get tier 2 trees closer to where I lived at. But I should make some storage chests. I need 5 bricks and 1 rope. That's a lot of stuff. It's only been an hour. Why have I had 2 ad breaks if it's only been an hour? I thought there was only 1 per hour. Maybe it's been more than an hour. I don't remember what time I actually started streaming because stuff got a little funky. probably see what I need for all the structures after I make some bonfires here. Obviously I cannot mine that particular shale outcrop. I'm really hoping my skip is close enough. It is not sad. I just use it. I definitely love this chat that I've got. It's very cute. Although I think I moved something because it's slightly off kilter. A lot of this game is just kind of wait for things to happen. You kind of do a lot of idle crafting. Very good game if you want to like second screen it. Be reading a book or something while you play your game. It's probably not the best for streaming, but I really love this game, and it was what I had open when I told myself that I had to stream before Pride Month ended. So, yay, my first stream as an affiliate, and the last day of Pride Month is me with puffy allergy eyes and no plans, just game. I'm really not getting very good hits here since I'm not getting much shale. Give me more shale. There we go. I think I just need one more, and then I'll have 20. Come on, give me one more. You rude rock. I had to boat for 20 minutes to get to you. I'm just making numbers up here. I should probably time some of this stuff. See how long it takes me to get from my crazy island to the main area where the tier 1 through 3 resources actually are. I guess I'm not too far from being able to cut down some of those trees, but honestly, I think after like level 30 it starts going up pretty infinitely to level up, so maybe I am pretty far from being able to tear down those trees. I could see if maybe going Because I think he was cutting down some pretty high level trees before. Actually, I don't know if Gon uses he pronouns or not. I should probably double check. Oh. Oh, I have 21 rocks. Oh well. Got some cart here. Structures. What else do I need for a bonfire? I could process the wood logs here before I go back. So I need 20 wood logs per bonfire. And I think I need 5 or 6 bonfires maybe. Let's go with 6. So 120. I found some tier 2 trees. Chop them down. Are there even any tier 2 trees in this area? Wait. That might be one. Yeah, there's some tier 2 trees here. I'm good. I just need to get them across the river. I think it's going to take me several trips to get enough. I definitely don't care for keeping seeds, because I don't think I can actually grow those outside of their own biome. I can certainly try, but I don't think it'll work. At least as of the last test, they had removed the ability to grow trees outside of their native biome. Because they wanted people to focus on like trade and stuff. Which I guess makes sense. They don't want people like me to solo shit and pretend like they know what they're doing. I mean, my ultimate goal was to try and actually get people to join me in my claim and have a whole group, but that didn't work out. I did not convince anybody to join me because I spent a whole month being busy and sick and not actually streaming, so I don't know if anybody will actually join me in the $30 game where I am barely leveled enough to do things myself. I mean, a lot of early access games do price that high just to kind of prevent botting and like general mischief from would-be menaces to society, I guess. Because every time I've seen an early access game from an indie developer that eventually goes to a lower price point or to free-to-play has been in the $20 to $30 range. So, like, it's not a bad price considering, like, AAA games pricing. But yeah, it's definitely a deterrent for people to join me. I actually haven't played a lot of MMOs before this one. Oh, I have overflowed my cart here. I'm getting distracted. I haven't really played a lot of MMOs because a lot of them involve like fighting or a bunch of flashy elements, which I have very bad photosensitivity. So I can't do a lot of the games that have like significant amount of flashing. I also just suck at games because of the flashing issue. So I don't like playing fighting games very much. Because, I mean, if you suck and people are not nice to you, it's not fun to play. I'll just leave my cart there, it doesn't matter. Oh wait, I do need it, never mind. One of my friends did try to get me to play the online Final Fantasy game with them. I think it's 14 or something like that. And I told them, I was like, I'm not sure how willing I am to spend money on a subscription service for a game that I don't know how much I'm actually going to be in. I can't believe I actually have to view the cargo slot to be able to put things in it. Now, where do you guys have your processing? Where can I process my wood here? Those are farming stations. This claim is such a mess, oh my god! They've got like some kind of circle going on here with the travelers. That's the forestry station. What are they doing over here? Mass producing stuff? Yeah, like even rhythm games and stuff that's supposed to be like super simple, yeah, people really enjoy their flashing in games. And I think some of it is like, the more movement, the more flashy, the more you can distract people from bad graphics or poor timing or whatever. Because even non-photosensitive people do get a bit dizzy and a bit distracted from things that are super flashy, so that's just kind of modern gaming in general. It's very hard for me to find things that I can play for hours on end and not get sick. So I think that's part of why I latched on to Bitcraft so hard, was just the actual ability to play it for a while. Because, like, even when I clip my camera into things, I'm not, like, getting super flashy going through this tree, because it's got a nice fade in and fade out as you clip into it. So they really did a pretty decent job, I think, of making this game actually accessible to people that tend to get left out of accessibility options. Like Discord's accessibility for reduced motion is turn all the motion off in general. And if they don't reduce it, they just get rid of it. Oh no, I need to put my card out. I didn't think about me having a lack of storage. I should have left my card out. Okay, good. It's now all in my cart. Where did my boat go? That's my boat. Yes. I really should figure out, like, if I can put my tablet somewhere between my two screens so I can see chat instead of having to go back and forth so drastically. Oh, that's not my skiff. That's somebody else's skiff. That's my skiff. I swear I know what I'm doing. Okay, so you cannot stack them higher than 10 even on the... I don't really need that. And I think I can put my part away now. What the? I went backwards. Oh, that was so ridiculous. Okay. Let's find some tier 2 trees on this side so I don't have to go across the river if this claim has not just utterly destroyed all of them. Oh, hey, wait, there's one. No, not that. I want cart. Oh, see that cape this guy has? This is why I'm building my own claim instead of joining somebody else's, because I want to design my own cape. And unfortunately, the game does not let you design your own cape if you are not the leader of an empire. And that makes me sad. So I need to build some bonfires, build some stations at my claim, and start oh, I got a bunch of those. I need to start collecting enough supplies to make an empire before anybody else finds that area and takes over. Actually, let me look at my compendium and see. Oh, supplies are not on there. Do I need to talk to the travelers and buy supplies from them? I thought we could make supplies. I thought they brought back our ability to make supplies. This tree does not want to give me trunks. Ooh, I have infinite amount of channel points. I can redeem things. I don't really have anything to redeem, but... My god, I've been going at this for a while and I still only have the one trunk. There we go. Now give me more. Maybe if I take it off my back, it will give me more. And my little owl buddy just fallen asleep because it's bored. Now he's awake. I made fun of the little owl. I actually have two owls. Got this little brown and gray guy as well. I like the gray one better. I don't think you can have both of them out at the same time. Yeah, you can only have one of them out at a time. I don't need those things. Stop giving me tree sap. Don't care about the tree sap or the saplings. I want trunks. Because I want a significant amount of the logs. I should see how much a writ of banking costs me. And if I have to be a certain level in probably room boss merchanting to get the writ of banking. Bet you it's gonna be level 20. Finally! Now I need to go find their forestry stations again. Oh, they've got a fancy path built right here. That's neat. Somebody went dropping stuff as they went. Why is my little owl buddy way the heck over there? I kinda wanna see what all they dropped, and if it's anything interesting that I should keep. Yeah, that person's just trying to make people uncomfortable, I think. Yeah. Tree sap. Birch seed. More birch seed. So they were just getting rid of stuff like I was. Stuff that I don't want either. Alright. Back to my skiff. Which is that one? There's a goat by my skiff. I really should level up my hunting so I can start hunting the goats. And 14 more? Oh. Never mind. I got plenty. So I just need to again with the going backwards. That's such a funky bug. I want to start boating my way all the way back to my spot here. Goodbye, Chaos. Thank you for letting me use your flame. They've got a lot of skiffs. These are all some pretty high level people here. I can take other passengers with me on my skiff? I thought they got rid of that. Lots of things have changed. So it's good to know that I can only get my limestone from the tier 2. Forest. probably see if anybody's willing to be a part of my claim and help me maintain supplies, because right now I don't even know how to acquire supplies. That's not in my compendium. Very close to... Oh, this is where I have to deboard my boat. Oh god, collecting all that stuff's gonna be a nightmare! I usually only have to do this once. The devs really should just let us jump off waterfalls though. That would be much more convenient. That took too long to actually see my storage here. You're gonna get left behind. Oh, he just teleported into the boat. Okay. Nope. Exit. Oh, this is probably gonna get me stuck again. Let's see if we can find a way out of here that doesn't get me stuck. Success? Question mark? Nope. Nope, I'm stuck. I tried to go too far. If you guys do join Bitcraft, you should totally come join my claim and help me build stuff so I'm not trying to solo a game that is very much not meant to be soloed. If you don't mind the chaotic location I chose. Anyways. I'll try to earn some money and buy you guys skiffs if you get your skiff sailing permits. It is a lot of fun. I love the non-complex crafting and the silliness that comes from me being too stubborn to actually do things the right way. View my skiff storage, please. Please view my skiff storage. Don't disown my things. It'll be a lot of fun to get to play with you because I see your posts a lot and I am a ball of anxiety and I never like really respond to anybody. on Blue Sky. I should actually start responding to people so they realize I exist. But it would be fun. It would be a lot of fun to get to know you better and to actually see what you do. I actually should try to catch your streams at some point because I follow so many people and then I only ever see like 5 people's live streams. I should unlock those 2 squares since I'm gonna take a while to sail over there anyways. I'm actually really excited because I figured out how to use one of my old Android phones as a stream deck kind of adjacent thing. So I figured out how to like toggle stuff on and off, and it's so fun. Oh, I also added an egg. I thought this was funny and it would be a fun redeem for people to use, but I figured at some point I should show off some of my toggles. I should add some more toggles. Maybe learn about those throwable things and how to actually use those. I've heard a lot of people like to redeem for throwing things at the VTuber. I probably wouldn't notice that stuff got thrown at me, but it sounds like the audience people like it, so I'll have to figure out how that works. Hi, Cage! Cage, I think is how it's pronounced. You've told me this and I'm dumb and I don't remember. I'm just playing Bitcraft, because I told myself I had to stream at least once before Pride Month ended, and even though my eyes are kind of swollen from allergies, my facial tracking is doing alright. I keep looking over at the other screen, and it is doing okay. But I made the very chaotic decision, so I'm going across the ocean here to this, like, way above my tier level biome. That's where I decided to build my claim, because I'm a menace. But like, you can see on the main area, all of these people have already claimed so much land, and if you zoom in, there's so many more claims. They're everywhere. I wouldn't have had my own space, so I decided to be a gremlin and come over here where there was nobody. And now I know why there's nobody. Oh, I have a neighbor. They were not there an hour ago. We moved in together. I just see if they want to, like, help each other out and go make friends with my neighbor. They're probably much higher level than I am. But this is a super fun game. I've explained a little bit before, but for, like, every 10 levels you've got in these little professions here is another tier of things you can collect and build and stuff. And I am only up to tier 3 in something. Yeah, I can give you a call. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be streaming. I actually might just build the bonfires and see if I can supply my claim long enough to not die while I'm asleep, and then end the stream there. Yeah, Pixel Frog, I am unfortunately playing solo. I couldn't convince anybody to join me. I may have spent the last month not streaming, so that's kind of my fault. And I'm too stubborn to join another claim because I wanted to be able to make my own cape, because I'm a menace. So I might have convinced a Blue Sky, I think, mutual follower. It took the whole day to find a claim and clean the area. Where is your claim at? What region are you in? I'm in region 8. Hold on, let me... Yeah, region 8. Way the heck out there. Because I'm a menace. Oh, you're probably not too far away from me then. I think Region 7 is to the, west of me? No, east of me? No, west. West of me. I haven't looked at that side of the map in a while. Let me see here. Scroll out all the way. Yeah, Region 7's to the west of me. So yeah, you're just the next region over from where I'm at. Did I start going backwards? I started going backwards. I love the color change when you get to this area. It's so pretty. And I'm very entertained by the flowers just being out in the middle of the ocean. That's intentional, because they're everywhere. I can probably turn off F4 now that I'm not needing to show someone. Someone just learned how to make health potions and they're having a blast with that. I probably should make some of those. They're pretty simple to make by the looks of it, but I haven't had any intentions to fight any jackals, so... Where's my claim at? There's my claim. Alright, I'm at least gonna build one bonfire. We can build the rest of them another time. Let's put one down there. Oh, I forgot to get... I forgot to get the trunks. I need to go across the ocean again and get the trunks. But I should be able to get a tier 2 tree just going straight across. I don't have to go all the way back to the tier 2 area. I have made awful decisions. I probably could have left some of my cargo in my cart back there and taken more logs with me. Let me do that. Let me plop all my cargo into my cart here and then go across. It is 10 p.m. So once I get my logs and get my bonfire started over here, I think my claim has enough supplies to survive the night and hopefully the workday. Let me check it. Because I mean, I'm currently not trying to protect much as far as buildings and stuff goes. Supplies. 103 days. I'm golden! I don't need to build any supplies right now. I just need to deploy my cart here. Leave all my stuff. in the front. Oh, I can only leave one of those stacks of cargo. I should have processed the birds while I was over in that other claim. Oh well, I'm going to get as many logs as my boat will carry. And I will probably regret not taking my cart with me, but I can only have one cart. And I don't have any chests or trunks or anything that I can put stuff in. I made very, very poor choices when moving out here. I should see if my neighbor has any stations that I can work off of to build my own stations. This is gonna take me forever to get over there and back. Actually, well, no, it's cargo, so I can't teleport back with it. I need to build myself some chests and get rid of all of my things that I'm carrying and don't need to be carrying. It's gonna take me a while to get across. Oh. I see why I need to call Cage. That's... I should get these logs and make my bonfire quickly. Go faster, Skiff! I cannot make it go any faster. There's higher tier boats that cost a lot more money. I bet they sail a lot faster than this thing. I don't have the time or the patience to collect all the money and the sailing experience needed, unless they figure out some other way to gain sailing experience besides turning everything into Svim. Because I can't keep up with that. Svim wants the same things over and over and over again. He wants timber and tarps, and those take a lot of time. And unfortunately a lot of supplies. You have to be constantly farming. I love how colorful all these fish are. I'm going to... That's probably a lot closer. What is my render distance? Why did I stop moving? Did I stop moving because I changed my render distance? Doesn't change much on the ocean though. When you're out in open water, there's not a whole lot to render. There goes the sun. Color change. I guess I know exactly where in the ocean that... Right about here is where this biome is. I definitely won't have any problem acquiring food over there, because there is an excessive amount of fish out by that biome. So as long as I have the right bait, I'm good. But I also have an insane amount of food because I decided food was more important than the other stuff that I went and got. Okay. It looks like I can park my skiff next to a tree and yeah, tier 2 tree, and just get me some logs in there. And I'll be able to fill 2 cargo slots worth of logs. And I can just leave my skiff and my cart out and they won't decay. Oh, there's another ad starting soon. Have I streamed that long, really? I guess, yeah, it's 10 p.m. I should get into the habit of longer streams. For the first week that I was streaming, I was just doing like 2 hours at a time. Because that's about the amount of energy that I had. It takes a lot to talk to yourself constantly. Time flies in this game. Yes, it does. Especially when you're doing tasks like this where you kind of just are waiting for things to happen. Like, I only got 1 log out of that so far. Some of the tasks just consume so much time and energy. Like when I was doing the traveler tasks for Svim, he asked for these things a lot, which means you gotta go cut down a whole entire tree and parse it down into the bark and then parse it down again into the parchment. Oh, this is the first time I've seen him ask for a tier 2 thing. Does this mean I can get more EXP from Spam? Guys, this is very important information. I probably should keep beating Spam tasks because, I mean, it would be nice to get a better boat eventually with how far I am from everything. Obviously this boat is better than a raft, so I'm happy where I'm at right now. But yeah, you can definitely kill time very easily in this game, especially because you can second screen it so much. So like, you can have this going on and be kind of just sidelining your, cutting the tree here, and then you can be on your other screen like reading a book or talking to a friend or something. Like right now I'm just kind of talking to myself while I go over. This game is nicer to stream with friends. I would love to do like a collab stream if I can figure out how to add other avatars to my stream and do that. I know Twitch does this thing where you can stream together and like combine audiences or something. I don't know if it would combine the videos, but I mean that sounds like a lot of fun. I want to try that sometime. Probably not this week. This weekend I'm going to visit family. Not because of the 4th of July. That happened to be the weekend that we were both free, and I try to visit them like once a month because I live a couple hours away now. I packed up and left them behind. But, and then next weekend I'm going to be at a convention in, I forgot where I was going actually. I'm driving into Indiana and then, I think it's in Wisconsin. I think from Indiana we're driving to Wisconsin. So, that's gonna be a fun road trip. I should probably bring a pillow and snacks. And hope for the best. Oh, I'm gonna run out of stamina soon. I need to probably upgrade my wardrobe now that I'm at tier 2 stuff, so I can get more stamina and more health. Especially if the alpha jackals are gonna be like stalking me. and whatever those like tier 6 monsters, there's drones on that island that I found to live on, and the drones can fly, and they're much more terrifying than an alpha jackal. They'll gang up on you. I explored a little too far south earlier in the game. Oh, it looks like my ad break is starting. If it even turns on, I can't tell. Anyways, if you can still see my captions, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. The drones, I went a little too far south. Exploring, I was trying to find a place to live that was not already overpopulated with people. And I found the rock garden, which is a really cool place. It's got some cool rocks, but there's a lot of climbing and there's nothing flat at all in that area. So I did a lot of climbing, just looking at the cool rocks because I was already down there anyway. I might as well look at the cool rocks, right? And these drones came out of nowhere. These things are an unholy combination of wasps and moths. Like, you would think they're cute. No, they're not cute. They are evil. And there was 5 of them, and they ganged up on me. And I died, like, instantly. There was no surviving that. But because they can fly, it does not matter how high you climb, they will follow you. And that's probably why they're in the rock garden, where there's a lot of climbing, because they can follow you. The jackals, if you're like more than 2 blocks up, they can't really follow you very easily. Like if you have to climb instead of just running across, the jackals can't really get up to you. So they're easy to avoid if you find something to climb on. But the drones can follow you. And there's other areas like this toad thing in one of the biomes will spit at you. I think it's spitting acid. And it reaches pretty far. It does not move. It can't follow you, but it's got a pretty long range weapon going for it. There's scorpions as well in the rock garden, so if you manage to get into like a valley area, a bunch of scorpions will gang up on you. Okay, I got enough logs. Let's go back home, yay! Time to get that bonfire going. Oh, please don't. No, don't do the thing. Don't yeet me backwards. Okay, we're not doing that, yay. This game is so broken. Well, first of all, let me get rid of. Gotta put my. Did the ad break in? The ad break ended! Yay! Gotta put my skip away again because I reached a broken part of the ocean. I'm gonna drop these because I don't care about them. I was about to freak out that I couldn't collect my stuff. I don't care about those either. But yay, I have enough logs, hopefully, to get started here. Could be pretty lucrative if I manage to level up enough to be collecting some of the stuff in the biome I'm at to bring it back to the mainland and start selling it to people. Because then they don't have to travel all the way to where I'm at to get their stuff. I was gonna say, if you're telling me I'm entering France, France has too much area. They're taking over everything. I mean, good for them. They probably have a ton of players. but bad for me, because it meant I had to move into a weird area. Really pretty weird area, but it's a weird area. But once I get back home, I will have enough logs to make my bonfire, and then I can end the stream and see who I should raid into. Let me actually look who's online right now. I'm gonna hope if I open the Twitch tab that it doesn't start making noises. Who am I following that doesn't have a lot of people? Well, I've got a couple of people that I follow that don't have a lot of viewers right now. I could also see if there's anybody else playing Bitcraft I can raid into. Let me search. Bitcraft. Oh, like, everyone playing Bitcraft right now has a lot of viewers. I think I'm gonna raid into one of my people that doesn't have a lot of viewers right now. Because I don't know actually how many viewers I've got. I can't see that number right now. But if you guys want to stick around and help out somebody I follow, even if they're not playing the same game as me, they may appreciate you hanging around, seeing what they're up to. This place doesn't look as pretty at night. It doesn't turn purple. Clouds look cool though. It actually kind of almost looks like they could do Northern Lights if you were able to look up. Oh, this would be a cool place to do the Northern Lights. I'm gonna suggest that to the devs. See if they take me seriously. Oh, hey, it did turn purple. Okay. That actually looks kind of cool in the dark, being all purple. Calendur's not live, are they? Well, they were probably still watching me. I'm scrolling in and zooming on the Bitcraft because I'm scrolling on my other screen over here. There's my claim. Getting closer. Once I build this bonfire, we will do a victory excited emote. I probably can do an excited emote. And then we will raid into somebody that's online that doesn't have a lot of viewers. Go watch one of my people that I follow. What happened to my card? It sunk. Did I put too many rocks in it? I think I put too many rocks in my... Too many rocks in my cart. But I love that. I love that it says welcome home. Where am I going? My guy. Oh hell. Oh fuck. Oh no, 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 no. That thing can fly. Oh, it won't follow me into the ocean. That's good to know. It's probably gonna stay there permanently, though. This is why I needed to make the bonfire. I might not be able to make my bonfire. This is disappointing. How far do I have to go for the drone to leave me alone? Come on, my guy. Return to whence you came. He's still... That guy's not gonna leave. I think I may just have to give up and make my bonfire another time after that drone has despawned. And then the bonfire will keep me safe from the drone when it respawns. But I guess for now, I'm gonna hit the stream ending screen and see who I can raid into, because my who's live screen has changed quite a lot. So, I thank everybody for coming out. I hope that I can actually get to play with you at Caliber, because that would be a lot of fun. I will see if I can message you later. I've got some stuff to do before I can even get back on Blue Sky, but let you know. You don't have enough to make me stop shrimping? Well, if you watch me a little more, I think it was only 100 channel points for that one. I thought so, but I will unshrimp for you. Anyways, I'm gonna hit the stream endings screen and raid into somebody, and then I will give Cage a call so we can talk about stuffs. Thank you all for coming in. I hope I will see you again next time that I'm able to stream. I don't know when that will be, but I will try to start making schedules again soon. Bye bye.